Hello Internet! In today's video I want to briefly cover this new long-running agents hype. I call it hype because I hear it everywhere as if it was something new, which I don't think it is actually. But before we start, let's have a look at our current app. So this is what we're currently building. That's the day in life app. So the idea is, when you start actually or come from school, university, college, whatever, normally you don't really have, or oftentimes you don't have a clue what you want to do. And so I thought it would be interesting, or kind of interesting at least, to build an app like the Day in Life app, which you can actually enter profession. You can see here, neurosurgeon, hedge fund manager, and so on. And basically what it is, so if I do it, hedge fund manager, so you just type in basically the profession, and then it basically creates a couple of questions, so basically scenarios. Just a second, there it is. As you can see, there are the scenarios, so it's telling you, okay, you're in this situation, you are now the hedge fund manager, and it gives you your proposed solutions how you can fix it. So this situation, what would you do, right? And based on that, you get points. And then at the end, after around 10 questions, I think it is, then you basically get your score, so to speak. And then you see whether you would be good in this profession or not. I know, of course, it's oversimplified, but that's basically the idea, and I found that was a interesting project. So that's basically it. So let's go back to the topic, to Claude and these long-running agents thing. So if I go to Visual Studio Code, in this case I'm using this one, or you see it currently, Claude is working in the background, so basically you can see here the feature implementers, and I'm gonna talk about this just in a second. But the idea was, you can run long-running tasks in Claude simply because you have more space than basically the context window. So, I mean, even if you have a 1 million token context window, at the end of the day, it's 1 million token, but then that's it, right? And then, of course, also the I forgets things, right? Even if you have, or as bigger the context window is, the more the I forgets, and so on. So, long story short, the idea is something actually which we have done all the time already, which is just you give the AI a kind of scratchpad, so the AI can write something down. And you also give it a kind of to-do list, right? A task list. So you break down the project you want to build into individual tasks, and then you let the AI actually, well, check off that list. So building feature by feature. That's what we currently see here on the screen. So that's why I have already told about this in other videos, but that's why I have actually my agents, which I have the feature implementer, the product manager, release manager, security auditor, and the technical architect. And the idea is quite simple because, originally I start with a prompt, which I want to build something, and then I have at first my orchestrator agent. And the orchestrator agent takes what I am giving it, actually, and first give it then to the product manager. So orchestrator is managing all the agents. And then the orchestrator say, okay, hey product manager, here is actually the product requirements, so PRD, or more or less actually the not so well written PRD, so basically what I'm telling the AI. And then the product manager takes a look at it, asks me questions for things he doesn't understand, and then he creates the full PRD, and a PRD in a structured way, in a way that you can give this to an AI, that it can actually, based on that, create the technical architecture, and also the whole idea on how the product should work, right? That's the idea. So basically I have the product manager, asks me clarifying questions, writes the PRD, and basically what I want to build. And then he hands over to the technical architect. Technical architect then takes a look at the PRD, basically what the product manager created, and based on that, he writes down then the technical architecture, right? So how should we implement the project? So should we use, for instance, React or Next.js for the front end? What should we use for the back end? So and so on, right? All these things. So that's a technical decision. And then again, the technical architect comes back to the orchestrator, and therefore actually back to me, and asks me, do you think this is the right structure? So that's what I came up with, but you need to agree it. So I'm the human in the loop. I still have the option to tell the architect, no, wait a second, this is completely off, or I want something different, right? I can't do that. And then the technical architect will take my feedback, and then he will adjust the technical structure. So after that, we have basically the product manager, which has written the PRD. We have the technical architect, which tells you how to implement it. And then now we need the implementation. And this is where we get actually our feature implementer. And that's the whole idea. This feature implementer basically can run long-running tasks. And the reason for this is that I do not start with one feature implementer who creates the whole project. You can see it here already. These are two different feature implementers, meaning we start with the first one. So basically we have a task list. Now it's broken down into individual tasks, and the feature implementer takes the first task. Then he implements it, and after the implementation is done, he writes what he has done. So basically we have a progress tracker, which says exactly, okay, that's already done. This is still to do. And then this feature implementer gets basically discarded. So his context, more or less, even if it's already, let's say, at 200,000 tokens, or let's say even it's close to 1 million tokens, it doesn't matter, because the feature implementer gets discarded, the orchestrator then starts the next feature implementer. So as you can see here, this is the next one. And the next one is then looking at, okay, where's the progress? What's the progress tracker? So where are we currently? Then what's still to do? What's the next task? And then he starts actually creating the next, or implementing the next task. And that's the idea. So that just means that basically the only limitation which exists here is basically how much am I willing to pay for using a traffic API. But that's basically the idea. So this can run actually infinitely, because each feature implementer is basically has its own context, is completely isolated from all the other feature implementer agents, and is only responsible for one specific task. And all of the feature implementers, so whenever I start a new one, they all have access to the same, let's say, scratch pad, or in this case, to the progress tracker, and also to the plan, what we want to implement. And that's actually all what they need. And then at the end, of course, if everything is done, then it goes back to, in this case, the orchestrator, and the orchestrator then can give me feedback and tell me, okay, now the project is done, for instance. And of course, there are additional agents, as you can see here. There's a security auditor, because, of course, we cannot simply create a product and have no security review and just release it to the public, right? That's a no-go. That's clear. But we have this security auditor who can do the security review and give us then the problems, and also can fix them. Or we can use a feature implementer to fix them. But basically, this can run on its own. And this is exactly this long-running agent. So that's why I personally believe, and please prove me wrong, tell me in the comments why I'm wrong. It's all fine, I'm open for discussion, but this is the reason why I believe this is nothing new, because we've done this for more than 6 months now. So just because a big model provider is now releasing something like that, and now there's this hype, shouldn't be a hype, because we already know that, and you should know it too, or you probably know it too. So that's just my take on that. So my 2 cents, as always. If you enjoyed the video, then thanks a lot. If you have any comments, as I said before, please write them. I read all of them, and I highly appreciate if you subscribe to the channel, and also give me a thumbs up, or also a thumbs down if you don't like it, but at least then share some critical feedback so I can improve. Thanks a lot, take care, and see you in the next video. Until then, best guys.